Welcome back to our tutorial for Byzantium, YouTube. I'm excited to get back into this today with some fresh perspective. It seems that our strategy, while it could work, is not as proactive as I'd like it to be. So after reading some comments, I've decided that we're going to vassalize the South Slavic miners of Bosnia, Serbia, and Wallachia. Well, if Wallachia manages to ally Bosnia, but we'll get into that. Our strategy is to declare war on Albania on day one. We can't get the dishonored call casus belli against Bosnia or Serbia because in 1.7 you can no longer get that casus belli by calling in an ally to a war you know that they will refuse. But we can declare war on Albania because we have a core there. And we're never going to be able to take Albania. We'll take it back from the Ottomans later on. But why we want to declare war on them is because it gives us an easy foothold into the Serbian lands, and we can get some easy ducats from them just by blockading their port in the war. But before we do all that, I want to mention that without allying Austria early, you will get declared on by a coalition after you've taken Serbia. Just the first South Slavic minor, after you've taken Serbia and vassalized them, you'll get declared on by Hungary, Venice, anybody else in the coalition. This happened in the last video that I tried to record and failed at. So, to prevent that from happening, we have made sure that Austria starts rivaled with Venice. If they don't start rivaled with Venice, your relationship with them will suffer. Because once you have rivaled Venice, Austria will get this nice little bonus called Enemy of Enemy. I believe that goes up to +10. That'll allow us to get a royal marriage easier. Now, while this is not necessary, we've also lucked upon a diplomatic reputation advisor, a level 1 diplomatic reputation advisor, which will cost us 0.9 ducats due to our national ideas, minus 10% advisor costs. So we're going to pick him up immediately and improve relations with Austria immediately. And as I said, a day one declaration of war on Albania before the Ottoman troops have even marched over there. We'll give ourselves a ruler who turned out, general who turned out to be really, really good. He's a really good day one general. 2 fire, 3 shock. Shock being quite important in the early game because you don't have a lot of units with fire. So we'll load up our armies on our boat and send our sole bark to collect trade in Crimea. This will keep our bark trapped up here in the Black Sea, where no navies are prone to come, and send our galleys and cogs over to Albania, not only to blockade their port, but to get our troops in line to attack Serbia. While that's happening, we're going to build 1 unit of infantry and 1 unit of knights in Achaia and Moria. Knights are very important early on. You don't have a lot of fire, you don't have a lot of artillery, but you do have cavalry, and cavalry have more shock pips than infantry, and they always flank. Very important in early conflict. Sorry. Now let's boot this up to speed 5 and get our armies moving. You only start out with 4 cogs, so you will leave 1 behind in Constantinople, but we'll pick them up in a minute. We will drop our units off here in Albania. And as soon as they're dropped off, we'll swing back to Constantinople. And pick up our sole unit of infantry there. Keeping an eye out on the siege timer in Albania. We don't want that to time out before we've marched all of our armies to Albania. And if Albania doesn't exist, we can't take their money. So we don't want that to happen. Okay. I think we'll be there in time. Drop off our armies. Declare war on Serbia. This will take a massive amount a massive amount of aggressive expansion. Minus 20 just for declaring the war with no reason. but we're going to do it. This may turn out just as poorly as the first time I've tried it, but I'm going to see it through to the end this time. March our armies over to Zeta. Get our diplomat back. I'm sorry, Albania. We have to take all of your stuff. If you shift and left-click on the plus button, you get the max amount of money they're willing to give you. 53 ducats is not bad for a country that is soon not to exist. $53 ducats. And we've already screwed up. So what we'll do is march half of our armies into the boat and then back onto land just to remove the exiled penalty. Our armies had arrived before the war declaration was met, and we had since peaced out with Albania, so that's where we screwed up there. And Athens is being unusually helpful. They're marching a few units here. See, Athens has brought 2,000 units to Zeta. This leaves us free to go stomp on the Serbian army's faces. Our general just had more shock than their general did, but that gave us 5 army tradition. That's pretty wonderful. You only need 2 units of any type of infantry, cavalry, artillery to successfully siege down a province if they have only level 2 forts. And that's what they have at the start of the game. Very few provinces at this stage have more than level 2 forts. Those being, just off the top of my head, Rhodes. Rhodes starts with a level 4 fort, and I believe Cyprus starts with a level 3. Everything is going pretty well so far, except for my forgetting to set a national focus, sending it again to administrative. Administrative points are very important. Let's see what our relationship with Austria is. They will already take a royal marriage. That Diplo advisor and the common enemy is doing wonders for us. And they'll take an alliance. This is wonderful. We get this alliance off before we vassalize Serbia, then that's going to be quite good for us. There we go. We no longer have to improve relations with them. Just the fact that we have them allied, any of our enemies wanting to declare war on us will say, hey, they're allied with Austria. We better leave those guys alone. After we've done this, we can start... No, we don't want to insult Poland. We can start improving relationship with Poland. Poland and Austria. Have a little warfare here going. That reminds me, we're not going to leave behind our old strategy of blocking the strait. No, sir. We want a ton of galleys, but we're going to build them as our money allows. Instead of taking out loans, each loan does increase the cost of each of your galleys by a percentage. We're going to build them as we have money. It'll keep us from taking out loans, going into debt, etc., etc. Once again, we will always increase patriarch authority. Patriarch authority, as I said, is good. Keeps revolt risk down, gives you more men to fight your wars. I do feel bad that we have to stomp on our South Slavic allies. They were always loyal members of the Roman Empire. They loved it. They loved their Roman overlords. And as the Ottomans marched through their lands and occupied them, they wept as the statues of Roman generals were pulled down in the town centers. But they'll become back. They'll become part of the Roman Empire again. They will once again return to the fold. They had a few years of independence. They got too used to it. But we'll fix all that. Everything will be set right. Won the siege of Kosovo. I'm not going to send our armies to reinforce what we have here, because that would only lead us to taking attrition, whittling down what little manpower we have. Now, if we were lucky, Bosnia would have allied Wallachia. This might still happen. Let's see if anybody's improving relations. No. They're acting funny these last 2 patches. Last 2 games, sorry. Let's consolidate these units here. Now, just as a matter of curiosity, I'm going to see what a full vassalization would cost us in terms of aggressive expansion. It's 29. That's not good. Well, we are going to fully annex Serbia. And before even a day has passed, we are going to start fabricating a claim on Bosnia, so we won't take another stability hit, a war exhaustion hit, aggressive expansion hit. It'll give us a valid cause for war, or a just cause for war, a casus belli, if you've ever wondered what that word meant. And Albania is no more. Goodbye, Albania. They haven't annexed them yet. That's strange. Okay. Get a royal marriage off with them real quick. Bring our diplomats back. We are full annexing. Will give us a little more aggressive expansion, but every time you release a vassal, you lose aggressive expansion with everyone in the world by some amount. So we'll take a look at that. 39 is quite a lot. That's why these coalitions will start everywhere. Covert actions, fabricate claim on Travunia. As soon as that's done, we can take a look at the aggressive expansion we have so far. 97 aggressive expansion. But once we release Serbia as a sovereign state, you know what? We might as well fabricate a claim on Ragusa as well. Ragusa is a great province. It's a valuable center of trade. Now, the reason we wanted to fully annex them and then fabricate claims is that unless we were bordering them directly, we would not have been able to fabricate these claims, and we would have taken even more aggressive expansion, even more of a stability hit, war exhaustion, if we declared without. So, since we have that going, we have our claims being fabricated, we will release Serbia. Venice is in the coalition, Wallachia is in the coalition, Bosnia is not. Athens, our vassal, would like to royally marry us. That gives us plus 25 relationship. And in the year 1554, or 1454, sorry, we will be able to annex them. Ragusa is in the military coalition. Well, it doesn't look as if we're going to be attacking Ragusa. I don't want them calling in Venice before we're ready. Looks like the Ottomans have just annexed Albania, gotten out of war, and set their rivals. Their rival now is Austria. You can see that Austria's enemy is the Ottomans. Austria hasn't set the Ottomans, but they have been set on by the Ottomans. And this gives us another 10 enemy of enemy. Or not. I might be confused about how that mechanic works. Looks like our boats are finished, so we're going to queue up a few more. More boats, more galleys. While we're waiting, we can go ahead and boost our stability. Because we are Orthodox, just from following the Orthodox faith, we have minus 10% to our cost. Usually it would be 100. So we'll get up to parity, will be 0. And wait for our claim to finish here. In the meantime, we can see if we can get an alliance. We can. That diplomatic reputation advisor is just wonderful. This will further dissuade people from joining military coalitions, or firing a military coalition war. This run could fail still. They could all attack us. That would be bad. Since we've created Serbia from nothing, they start with 0 ducats. They have no money. Therefore, they won't be spending, or they won't be creating any armies to help us in our war against Bosnia. Once our claim is fabricated, we will immediately declare war on them. We will also take a look at Georgia here. Georgia is being destroyed by Crimea. So why that's important is that Georgia, this country here, rather large for Byzantium to even think about fighting in the early game, they guaranteed Trebizond. And they're apparently allied. But Trebizond is one of our cores. Trebizond was a member of our empire. So taking them back early is a good little boost to your income. And because Georgia is now being absolutely demolished, we could send a unit over here to take them over. But we'll see how well Georgia is faring after their war here. They may be completely annexed or vassalized. So we'll just keep an eye out on that by setting them as special interest. Just have about 20% left here. Our boats are coming up. Might as well consolidate our navy here. With 1.7, I believe it was added with 1.7, you can hold down Control and drag to select only your ships. Even if you've dragged over your armies, your land armies, it will still only select your ships if you've held down Control. So, our claim on Travunia is finished now, which means we can start attacking them. Now, instead of fully annexing them, all we have to do is vassalize them. And because they're at war with Ragusa, as soon as we vassalize Bosnia, we will be called into a war against them, which will allow us to take Ragusa as well. Now, if Ragusa has taken or occupied any provinces from Bosnia, we will not be able to outright annex Ragusa without first sieging those back. But we want to do that because having more vassals than we have now would be problematic. So that might be where we head. I know watching sieges is really entertaining, but that's what we're going to have to do now. Yes, increase Patriarch authority always. Consolidate our ships. Oh, it looks like the war has finished because Bosnia occupied Ragusa. That's no good. They're still part of the coalition, so we won't be able to cascade any wars on them. And it looks like Bosnia is trying to fight back against us by sieging out Zeta. That was our strategy, Bosnia. Our sieges are working. They're going pretty well. Already taking Donji Kraji. Now there's this option that changes the name of a province depending on the culture that has annexed it or the culture that exists there. Now Austria, when they take over Lombard provinces, Hungarian provinces, Croatian provinces, the name changes. But we don't get that. As far as I know, Grenada, when they take over provinces in the Iberian Peninsula, they change. The names of those provinces change. Austria changes the name of provinces. We don't change anything. The only thing that I can recall is that Serbia is Serbia. That's the only thing that changes. Oh well, that's just another complaint. And they will already become our vassal. Good. Good on you, Bosnia. We could take their money, but that would cripple them. We want their armies. So we'll leave them with all of their money, all of their armies, and they will be a strong vassal right off the bat. They'll be a vassal that hates us, but they will be our vassal. We are large enough now to rival the Ottomans and Wallachia. Now, if we're lucky, we may get missions, because they're our rival, to subjugate them, conquer them. I think that might not fire unless we have a direct border, so we'll have to wait until we annex Serbia, but that won't be anytime soon. Let's see if our focus can turn on the dirty Venetians. The year is 1450. We cannot annex Athens yet, Trebizond is still allied with Georgia. Georgia still exists. The Knights are allied with Venice. Naxos is a vassal of Venice. And Venice is in a coalition against us along with Hungary. And that coalition isn't going anywhere. That's too bad. Well, let's consolidate our armies and try and determine our next move. Well, that is the opening. This is a more proactive opening. You can't get valid casus bellis against the South Slavic miners, but you can attack them, you can vassalize them. It relies entirely on Austria deterring these little countries here, Hungary and Venice, from attacking you. You need these alliances. Just because you're allied, they won't attack you. They're afraid of them, more than they are of you, and for good reason at this point in the game. But if you've enjoyed this video and you'd like to see the tutorial continue, please leave a like or a comment, and I'll see you next time.